Part 73. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 726. Chapter 726 Borrowed for a few years? Say what is inside, it will not cost you time. If you don't say it, I don't trust this kind of lust. Wei Suo looked at Ling Longtian with a dignified look and didn't want to bicker with her. The breadth of the Grey Divine Light screen is extremely amazing, making Wei Suo feel overwhelmed, heaven-defying, and the restrictions, which must be the strongest of the divine mystic great treasure, can be arranged, and Wei Suo's divine consciousness swept up and was completely bounced out, and there was no such thing as a Grey Divine Light screen. You don't think the more you know, the more dangerous it is. Ling Longtian was a little impatient at the moment, very annoyed at Wei Suo's "be careful" screaming. I would rather know a little more clearly. Wei Suo does not move the surging sound to look at Ling Longtian. He is scrupulous about the things in front of him, and never cares about those things that are still illusory. And they have been entangled with this little girl for so long, I am afraid that even if there is anything, it will not be able to get rid of it. Okay, then I tell you, this is a level of great treasure that can be used together with the Master of the Day. It is also an important point in this battle. This place was originally located at the deepest secret place of the Bamang Mountain Gate, next to the Scriptures Depository, and one of the most powerful places for the fight of shapeshift great art. I couldn't think of it because of the strong treasure of restrictions, and it was stuck in this secret place. Ling Longtian heard Wei Suo say, but he calmed down and sneered. The level of great treasure can cure the wounded. Great treasure, you heavenly emperor? It is the same name as the Tongyu Tian Xiao. Wei Suo's eyes flashed violently, and then he asked, is it true that this great treasure emperor is the strongest of your side, wounded by the strong desolate race, healing here, leading the other side to kill? Listen to what you mean. In addition to this, there are other aspects of this war? You are not stupid. I might as well tell you that there is another important reason. Bai Bei is offering a supreme immortal artifact, which is a deadly threat to the desert race, so it will lead to this great treasure battle. Many heaven-shaking sturdy people are falling here. Ling Longtian seems to have known that Wei Suo would say this and replied directly, the supreme immortal artifact, which has not been finally refining, was completely destroyed along with several supreme ancient scriptures in Bai Bei. Well, since you are not afraid to know, I can answer some of your questions. But I don't have the patience to wait outside. If you want to ask, just go in with me. Wei Suo has to ask again, but it was interrupted by Ling Longtian. Good. Wei Suo, stunned a little, no longer said anything, nodded. Don't leave me outside. This is the North Corpse ban. If it is attacked by origin chi, immediately eliminate divine consciousness and become a zombie. Ling Longtian narrowed his eyes slightly, and the golden ons in his eyes were like the essence. Brother Rabbit, just next to me. Wei Suo immediately deliberately stayed in Li Ziyi. Brother Rabbit, she's weird. Li Ziyi, although stupid, didn't have the concept of true UN, but when she followed Wei Suo to Ling Longtian, she immediately felt the difference. Looking at Ling Longtian, I was a little scared. It doesn't matter, just follow me in. But after listening to the word Wei Suo, Li Ziyi was immediately relieved, followed by Wei Suo and Ling Longtian, heading towards the Grey Divine Light screen. Hong. Just as soon as I walked into the Grey Spirit Light, Wei Suo suddenly couldn't see the surrounding scenery, only that the heavens and the earth were all grey, and the murderous intention was overwhelming. Ah, green-robed old man is also afraid of a surging sound. The purple light on Ling Longtian is very intense. The grey bracelet on the hand is again emitting a grey light pattern, and a grey light group is formed outside them. But on this grey light group, there was a broken surging sound, which seemed to be unbearable and completely collapsed. Ling Longtian's face is also a bit white, and it is difficult to move forward. It seems that every step of the way has to bear the huge pressure. However, the grey light group formed by the astigmatism on the grey bracelet does not stop the surging sound, but it does not collapse at the end. It has been maintained at about 1 foot for Great Treasure Xiao. After the Great Treasure took about 20 steps, the surrounding murderous intention suddenly disappeared, and Ling Longtian slammed into the naked body and almost fell to the ground. Wei Suo is also a cold body, cold sweat, and long flowing. It is obvious that Ling Longtian has reached the limit. If the area covered by the divine light screen is longer, I am afraid they will fall directly into the gray spirit light. Kaka. Ling Longtian immediately took out 3 pieces of the monster subduing tower fragment and swallowed it. Wei Suo and green-robed old man were immediately and completely shocked. There is a blue light in front of it. There seems to be nothing else between the heavens and the earth. There is only one long Xuanhuan, suspended in front, with a faint blue light. Ling Longtian's face was very pale, but her eyes were filled with unimaginable golden light. She went straight up and reached for the Xuanhuan. Shua. Xuanhuan disappeared instantly, and all the blue light filled with the heavens and the earth disappeared. In front of Wei Suo's is a temple that has been completely broken. The entire main hall should not be great treasure before. The main material is yellow UU stone, but now it has fallen apart and scattered, nearly 1,000 feet. Yuki Yu. These are all good for warming origin chi, and removing the yin of origin chi. These are, great treasured mine pool essence metal. Can be used to refine the legendary immortal artifact, its _crew first name Commonwealth 26. Its crew first name Commonwealth 26. Another immortal artifact is broken here. The surging sound of green-robed old man has solidified again. On the ruins of the yellow stone U stone, there is a kind of yang and heat, like the sun at noon. On the front ground closest to Wei Suo and Ling Longtian, there are countless yellow beans essence metal. Among these essence metals are lightning-like textures that are not refined and naturally generated. Great treasure essence metal. This is the legendary extinction. You can refine the supreme thunder attribute shapeshift great art great treasures great treasure essence metal. But nowadays, among these great treasures, essence metal, all the lightning-like textures have been completely faint, and it has been completely destroyed by an unknown and powerful natural energy. Even if these essence metals are remelted, there is no shapeshift great art to drive supreme thunder glow. Above these essence metal shards, you can see some rare and unimaginable, layered, at least tens of layers of rune. This great treasure, essence metal, must have been transformed into a heaven-shaking shapeshift great art great treasure by a heaven-shaking great treasure, but in this battle, it has completely collapsed. Ancient great treasure can bones. Wei Suo's eyes also solidified instantly. Among the ruins on the left, there are 2 white bones. One of the white bones has only 1 shelf left, and the bones are scattered with the luster of the green U. It looks very strong enough to show that this person's cultivation base is extraordinary, but all the bones of this person's secret place are thoroughly fragmentation. It seems that the Xiong mouth was completely worn by people. The other white bone is wearing a black shapeshift great art. The black shapeshift great art is not a gold U, nor is it a rune, but it looks very good and has no trace of damage. Among them, white bone is white as U, extremely close and meticulous, but the head disappears without a trace, and the head may be beaten into ash and fallen. But this white bone is still wrapped in a layer of fine white light like silk. A stock is no less than the stalwart treasure of the golden sword, which is scattered from the body of the white bone. This breath of white bone is completely different from the divine mystic of divine mystic great treasure, and it's even more amazing, this white bone is a skeleton of true immortal. The characters of true immortal level have not appeared for a long time, and now there is a true immortal skeleton in this secret place. Wei Suo's heart cannot tell the shock. At this moment, in the eyes of Ling Longtian, the golden light flashed, but Dang was angry, but it seemed to suddenly see hope. Immediately, Ling Longtian moved to the side opposite the 2 white bones. And Wei Suo was shocked and immediately recovered from the incomparable shock, followed by Ling Longtian. Mom, you are embarrassed, you see a cut off Tui, you are so happy. As soon as Ling Longtian was around, Wei Suo couldn't help but scream. He thought it was something to the great treasure, and when he got to the front, he was shocked. There is a broken Tui in front of Ling Longtian. This broken Tui is also indigo, the door is a layer of dust, there is no spiritual chi, very pouring great treasure. When Wei Suo divine consciousness swept past, I thought it was a broken giant column, now seen, is a broken Tui. This broken Tui is a few feet long, and it is also like wood. It looks like the broken arm in Wei Suo's hand. It is obviously left in the desolate race mentioned in Ling Longtian's mouth. Wei Suo naturally knows that this little girl is happy to see the stump of the head, but for him, there is no secret place to break the broken foot, and it is scared, so it is depressed. Then one sentence. There is no trace of the great treasure of Heavenly Emperor. Ling Longtian did not feel angry this time, but lightly surging sound explained this sentence. You used to want to go through the great treasure, Heavenly Emperor, whether it is finally degraded, to guess whether the battle will eventually win or if the other party wins. Wei Suo saw the look of Ling Longtian and didn't bicker with her. He said, but it may not be inferred now, because the great treasure of Heavenly Emperor may also fall into the secret place. Great treasure. Heavenly Emperor is seriously injured. For a moment, there is no shapeshift great art to leave this secret place, and his great treasure is rich in power. If there is no shapeshift great art at the end, here is shapeshift great art. This secret place will definitely leave a unique branding. Ling Longtian is proud of it, a god lust that you don't understand. The smell of this corpse is so amazing, is it a thing? Wei Suo rushed to secure the secret place and immediately ordered the cultivator body wearing a black shapeshift great art. Northern Great Yin Heaven collecting gown is an elder of Baibei. Ling Longtian swept away, his face was more radiant, and he said casually. Just an elder, is there such a cultivation base? Wei Suo once again took a deep breath. You retreat. The restrictions on this corpse are weird. Ling Longtian walked toward the corpse and suddenly changed his face and said this to Wei Suo. Wei Suo conditioned reflexes and swept away toward the rear. Ka. But the fine light of the corpse was shattered as soon as Ling Longtian was in the past, and then Ling Longtian reached out and grabbed a piece from the sleeve of the corpse. You yell at me? Wei Suo bowed and saw the smug look on Ling Longtian's face. He suddenly responded and cried. What are you holding? Give it to me. Don't you be afraid of being killed by heavenly tribulation? Wei Suo swept past Ling Longtian. According to the agreement, everything that was obtained from this Beijiao must be attributed to him. I did not say no to you, first borrowed me for a few years. Ling Longtian's face was very embarrassing, and Wan Yu took out a sly smile. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Zy. Chapter 727. Chapter 727. Another piece of wonderful tree fragments. Steel Teeth younger sister, you, Wei Suo almost vomited blood. Borrowing for a few years? Why don't you borrow 10,000 years? Ling Longtian heart lust great treasure. Well, Wei Suo is more depressed, the more she is proud. Watching Wei Suo look like she is going to come up desperately, she is proud to raise the things in her hand. If you want to, I am desperately here, but there is nothing good secret place, let alone this thing for you to use secret place and not great treasure. Maybe there is still something to be done. What the hell is it? Wei Suo held back the urge to Ling Longtian, who wanted to succumb to death, and snarled. The real thing about a real true immortal is how it is, and watching this guy just go straight to this thing and go after it. Now he doesn't believe her ghosts. Bamang shapeshift talisman, a shapeshift great art that can hide the air and let me feel the scent of your cultivator and change the look. Ling Longtian grabbed the hand and stared at Wei Suo to prevent Wei Suo from suddenly attacking. Shapeshift great art that hides the look and changes looks. Wei Suo gave a slight glimpse of what he suddenly thought of, and immediately asked, what level of change, to what extent, hidden and hidden? You can also use the shapeshift great art of this cultivator? reassured, can only be fixed into a kind of appearance, which has been determined in the refinement of refining. This avatar is its own powerful energy, to ensure that in the case of its own true UN disappeared, maintaining the look. So just touch the shapeshift great art array above and you can use it. Ling Longtian squinted and said proudly, as for the degree, the estimates below true immortal level are not visible. Mother Hummer. Sure enough. Wei Suo almost got a spurt of blood. True immortal can't be seen below, isn't it? In the current cultivation world, at least the divine mystic great treasure he got, and it's impossible to see it. Even if it can only be fixed into another face, it is used to kill people, robbing and arson. It is absolutely too great treasure. It's no wonder that little girl, who had a long horn at the beginning, volunteered to help him to go to ruins of Baibei to explore the great treasure. It is clear that she also had some intentions. It is clear that she knew that there was such a shapeshift great art on her cultivator. Just look for this shapeshift great art in ruins. She has this shapeshift great art, walking in the cultivation world. It won't be shocking, so it won't be thought of as a monster beast at once. And Wei Suo has previously tried out from her words and looks, her grey bracelet should be useless for the monster beast. She is also afraid of encountering a powerful high-level monster beast along the way, because she and Wei Suo's fleshly body in front of some high-level monster beast, it is not particularly strong great treasure. So she encouraged Wei Suo to come together, and she would also consider Wei Suo as a bodyguard. It was from the very beginning that she had gone to her old age, and the great treasure Jian business had started to wash her feet. Does this thing have on the cultivator? Wei Suo asked Ling Longtian, who was looking at the smug eyes. There are several elders. Ling Longtian looked at Wei Suo and said, so maybe you can find it. Steel Teeth younger sister, heavenly tribulation kills you. Wei Suo almost really blew a blood out. She just said that this Baibei cultivator is an elder. The elder is true immortal level cultivation base, true immortal level great treasure can, even if you think about it with your butt, it is not too much. Moreover, these secret places broke the mountain naked body, but there are only a few xiao blocks in the Baibei area. 1% is not there. There is just a place for the great treasure of Heavenly Emperor. It's already thankful. If you want to finding one or two true immortal corpses elsewhere, that hope is really embarrassing. Reassure, I will return it to you before heavenly tribulation arrives. Ling Longtian 1 you made a sharp smile and haha smiled. Go to death. Ids _crew first name Commonwealth 26. Wei Suo was extremely depressed. Suddenly, looking at the rear of Ling Longtian, he screamed a surging sound like a ghost. What? Ling Longtian was originally proud of it. Suddenly I saw Wei Suo's watch lust. I was shocked. I immediately turned my head and looked back, but the back was very normal, nothing. When she reacted and turned around, Wei Suo had a true UN, and both of them were photographed in front of them. The liar, you really are very sinister. But I have already swept divine consciousness, they don't have treasure receiving pocket. There should be nothing, are you not in vain? As soon as Wei Suo quickly caught the two bones in front of him, Ling Longtian immediately laughed at Wei Suo. But Ling Longtian's ridiculous god, lust, immediately solidified, and the golden eyes bulged. This, green-robed old man is incredibly called surging sound, and it almost rang at the same time. Wei Suo himself did not think of it, stayed for a while, and his eyes were round. He just took out a piece from the white bone, the elder of Baibei. At the same time that the two skeletons were rolled in front of each other, Wei Suo was even more depressed, because his divine consciousness was swept away, and there was no such thing as the treasure receiving pocket in the remains of the elders of Baibei. Shapeshift. Great art has nothing to lose. Not to mention the other you like bones, shapeshift great art clothing has been dang nowhere. At first glance is a broken skeleton, there is nothing at all. Only the position of the left hand palm of the elder bone of the elders of Baibei seems to be embedded with something. Wei Suo thought it might be a fragment of what shapeshift great art great treasure. The shapeshift great art great treasure used by this true immortal level is very likely to be the immortal artifact containing supreme powerful energy. Even if it is only the immortal artifact fragment, as long as it can, there are some powerful energy of immortal artifact. It is also different. Before Wei Suo had seen the real immortal artifact, the remnant of the Rene Venerable Emperor Sword, the unique supreme shapeshift great art pattern, even Yu Wei, is the unique origin Qi rule, the powerful energy is probably in mystic rank shapeshift great art. But at this moment in the hands, this thing, scattered with a faint white spirit light, which seems to have a unique wood grain, is not a shapeshift great art great treasure fragment, but a piece of wonderful tree. Wei Suo's previous shards at the Great Treasures auction at Sea Immortal City, only the thumb Great Treasure Xiao, and not completely refining at the moment, but this piece of wonderful tree, Great Treasure Xiao is enough to have Wei Suo before the wonderful tree fragments of the 3 times Great Treasure Xiao. A thumb of the Great Treasure Xiao, the spiritual Qi, is even comparable to an immoral level Dan Yao. Now, such a wonderful piece of great treasure, at least comparable to 3 immortal level Dan Yao. This piece of wonderful tree must have been obtained by the elder of Bai Bei, buried in the hands, used for cultivation, but it has fallen without refining, and finally left. Wei Suo didn't even think of it, and he would get a piece of such great treasure in this northerly. This piece of wonderful tree shards is washed in the naked body day and night. I don't know how many days of retreat painstaking cultivation can be reduced. Now Wei Suo is holding this piece of Ru white, and his hands are trembled unconsciously. It seems like you are in danger on this piece of things, just throw it away. Ling Longtian immediately called a surging sound after the ridiculous god lust solidified. Mother Hummer, do you think I will still be yours, the magic tree fragments? What danger? Wei Suo couldn't help but grab a stone on the ground and smashed it toward the face of little girl on the long horn. Pa! Ling Longtian broke the stone that Wei Suo threw at her, and the face was dark, you know the pieces of the tree. I think you will be killed by heavenly tribulation sooner or later. Wei Suo is also a dark face. I am unlucky. Ling Longtian trembled. I didn't get it anyway. Didn't swallow your things. This long-horned guy is really afraid of heavenly tribulation. It seems that there is a chance to ask her more about the heavenly tribulation. Wei Suo didn't look at Lingbai's eyes with great enthusiasm, and received the pieces of this wonderful tree. Why, is this wonderful tree fragment useful for you? Spiritual Qi of the wonderful tree fragments is useless to me, but some of the origin Qi in my own material is useful to me. If we want to be a Jiao easy, I will give you the remaining monster subduing tower essence metal, you give it to me. Ling Longtian looks like a sullen look. It seems that this piece of things is in her hands, maybe she can not help but say to borrow a few years. Okay, let me show the piece of Bamang shapeshift talisman first. I will give it back to you soon after reading it, said Wei Suo. Go to death, do you think I will believe you? Lend it to you, it must be roe buns and dogs, Ling Longtian shouted immediately. The negotiations broke down. Wei Suo sneered, from now on, say good, there is something to find in Bai Bei. I will not borrow. If you want to borrow something again, if you borrow a few years, I will take you to Cloud Spirit Continent. If you don't borrow, don't borrow. Ling Longtian took a surging sound, but it was light surging sound. I have seen it before. Any important place has been hit, the secret place. On the other 2 mountains, the estimated body is also estimated. There won't be many things. Wei Suo turned over roll one's eyes, but his attention was immediately drawn to the 2 bones in front of him. What is the identity of this other bone? Can you see it, the white light pattern entangled in the bones of the elders of Bai Bei, although it has disappeared, but the naked body is still scattered like the ancient heavenly dragon, and the white Yu-like bones seem to have innumerable details. Xiao light flashes like a myriad of stars. True immortal is dead, but the breath is still heart-rending. Another blue like shin bone, although it is not like the sacral bones of the elders of Bai Bei, has a heart-rending strong great treasure, but it seems to be returning to the original, giving a kind of grand deo reaches the simple. A skeleton has a wonderful feeling of being a naked body with the surrounding world. I don't know, this breath is very unique. I should not know this person, I have never seen it, but it can be degraded here, and certainly the top powerhouse at that time. Ling Longtian, who has been very proud of Wei Suo's, looks at the broken bones, but his eyes are also a very respectful look. Seeing the position of a secret place together when the two bones fell, this unknown level of great treasure can, and should be standing at the spirit race and the north side. What is this shapeshift great art robe? What type of shapeshift great art clothing? Wei Suo also ordered the shapeshift great art robes from the elders of Baibei. Although the black shapeshift great art robes are not brilliance, they are not damaged at all, and there is a unique atmosphere of underworld yin, which should be intact. Great yin heaven collecting gown, the defense type of shapeshift great art clothing, after defending the powerful energy mystic level mid-level, can mainly block the other's divine consciousness exploration, not affected by the impact of the other divine consciousness pressure and divine consciousness. Ling Longtian seems to have no interest in this shapeshift great art robe, simply explain. I want to take away this shapeshift great art suit and these two skeletons. Do you have any opinion? Wei Suo said after a flash of his eyes. The protective energy of this shapeshift great art garment is a good shapeshift great art great treasure for Wei Suo, not to mention the resistance of divine consciousness pressure and divine consciousness. This shapeshift great art garment, for cultivation the lower base Hanwai Wei and others are more useful. As for the two skeletons, there seems to be a lot of astral origin chi among the elders of Baibei, and another green Yu bilge. It seems to indicate a supreme great treasure, giving Wei Suo a unique feeling. Let Wei Suo can't help but want to take it away, and let it slowly become enlightened. In any case, our spirit race thinks that only the divine soul consciousness is important. The fleshly body is just the accumulation of origin chi. It is no different from the dust of everything, just you. Ling Longtian doesn't care. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Zy. Chapter 728. Chapter 728 is again taken. After the two skeletons of the ancient great treasure can be put away, Wei Suo carefully searched the temple again, but in addition to the broken land, it is useful for the nourishing chi of the origin chi. Nothing found any useful things. From the traces of the entire temple, there are at least 5 or 6 great treasures that can fight shapeshift great art. Because of the ruins of the Yu stone everywhere, in addition to the indigo broken tui, there are some other cultivator bones into the dust, and some fragments of shapeshift great art clothing. These dust and shapeshift great art pieces are still faintly left with some great treasure and can be sensed. But the scene did not search for anything like the treasure receiving pocket. It seems to have been searched, but there are 2 relatively intact shins on the scene. These 2 skeletons also have amazing tree fragments. Great treasure. This is what makes people feel very strange, how can't figure out. Because there is no other valuable thing, Wei Suo and Ling Longtian are ready to leave this secret place. This grey divine light screen is different from other divine light screens. It depends on the Ling Longtian hard drive. When entering, Ling Longtian almost supports it. Can't live, so at this moment she is eating essence metal from the monster subduing tower in the east, and she is building up her strength. Here, Wei Suo also sees that this grey divine light screen is not the shapeshift great art in this temple, but the ancient level of great treasure, which directly sings amazing power in the void. This grey divine light screen is completely independent of the void, but always surrounds the temple. The heaven-shaking method of the ancient level great treasure is really unimaginable. Such restrictions, like the homemade divine domain, can now be arranged without the divine mystic great treasure in the cultivation world. Right, do you know where there is Buddha nature holy fruit, While waiting, Wei Suo suddenly thought of this important question and looked at Ling Longtian. Buddha nature holy fruit? This kind of thing is only found in some Buddha sections. How do you ask this? Ling Longtian suddenly looked at Wei Suo with a strange look, and the eyes were golden. My culture, a shapeshift great art, needs this kind of Yao. Wei Suo is also a bit curious, why does the Buddha sect have this great antiquity sacred fruit? Did you also cultivation the Buddha shift great art? Ling Longtian snorted and felt more and more Wei Suo's hua-like. Unlike the general cultivator, the Buddha something shapeshift great art is strange. This great antiquity sacred fruit is said to be able to make some reluctance for shapeshift great art. Useful, and useful for some of the Buddha's reincarnation shapeshift great art. Shapeshift great art, I have heard of some. What is the reincarnation of shapeshift great art? Gathering the whole body of life essence, refemming, turning into a baby, equivalent to another life, but can preserve all the consciousness of the past life and the great treasure semi-cultivation base. And the resurgence of the fleshly body, natural talent is better. Many of the Buddha's level of great treasure can be repaired by the shapeshift great art, and the spirit shift great art finally becomes a level of great treasure. Is there still such a work shapeshift great art? Great treasure is endless, rare, and uninformed. Let's go. Ling Longtian glanced at Wei Suo and walked towards the grey divine light screen. After eating 2 essence metals from Monster Subduing Tower, she had returned to the best condition and could rush out of the grey divine light screen. Wei Suo immediately greeted Li Ziyi with Ling Longtian. After a while, a surging sound of Ling Longtian and Wei Suo, Li Ziyi came out of the grey divine light screen. Ling Longtian was white again, shaking and falling, and even after eating 2 pieces of essence metal from Monster Subduing Tower, it looked like it was restored. It seems that you haven't been like it before. Divine ability has no shapeshift great art at all. Compared with those of the level of great treasure, it is quite like this restrictions, Wei Suo said contemptuously. This is heavenly emperor shapeshift great art, and there are a few people who can come in and out safely. Dare to laugh at me, you dare not give me essence metal, I will let you know how powerful it is. Ling Longtian looked at Wei Suo and squinted. You haven't told me where it is possible to find Buddha nature holy fruit. Wei Suo only saw the table lust of the Ling Longtian threat. I don't think you have to repair your shapeshift great art. Buddha nature holy fruit was extremely rare in the past, and the Buddha was also slightly dying. Even if there was a remnant of the Buddha's gate in the past, it is estimated that it is impossible to find it. Ling Longtian, a gloating table lust. It seems that this guy is really able to swallow essence metal cultivation. Buddhism, you can ask for inquiries first. Cloud Spirit Continent, is there any culture? Buddhism shapeshift great art section. Wei Suo looked at Ling Longtian's watch, lust, but he was not depressed. His old quotient was also constantly testing. Previously Han Yuer said that a certain sect of Cloud Spirit Continent might have Buddha nature holy fruit. Now combined with Ling Longtian said shapeshift great art, Wei Suo, after Cloud Spirit Continent, set up shapeshift great art to inquire. There is no sect shapeshift great art, so you can hear the fallen body of Buddha nature holy fruit. I asked my shapeshift great art not to be repaired. You were not able to work with many levels of great treasure more than 60,000 years ago. Do you know anything powerful about shapeshift great art? If there is a powerful sharpshift great art for me, I can consider giving you more essence metal. Following Long Longtian to leave the naked body of the broken mountain in the abyss, Wei Suo continued to test his words as he flew up. I am not interested in shapeshift great art, which I can't use, and even if I know it, I won't give it to you. You guys seem to be too annoying. Ling Longtian has a nose and doesn't look at Wei Suo. It seems that you are not getting it at all. It is estimated that you can only give shoes to the level of great treasure, Wei Suo said deliberately. As you say, don't bother to care about you. Ling Longtian's cultivation skills were exercised by Wei Suo, not angry, and disdained to look at Wei Suo's. Do you know that there is a shapeshift great art instrument called Bai Bei shapeshift great art? Wei Suo continued to ask. The low-level blood element shapeshift great art, the poor copy of the heaven-swallowing demonic blade Ling Longtian is even more disdainful. Bad imitation? Heaven-swallowing demonic blade, what is it? Wei Suo stunned. Heaven-swallowing demonic blade is the sharpshift great art great treasure of the northerly great treasure that can be swallowed by the venerable emperor. You can choose to take each other's own blood power. The bloodshift great art knife mimics the heaven-swallowing demonic blade refining, and even the chi and blood that absorbs the divine mystic cultivator can't resist it. You can only deal with the golden core cultivator at most. It is not as good as the blood of the divine lord. What if the blood transfer shapeshift great art knife is used to suck the divine mystic cultivator's chi and blood? You can't stand it and blow it up? Wei Suo and green-robed old man couldn't help but scream. I said how you would mention this. It seems that you have a blood-feeding shapeshift great art knife on hand. Ling Longtian's brow wrinkled. So, you are not honest. I used to come here to find out. Mother Hummer, I also got it from people's hands. I have never been here before. Wei Suo is extremely depressed. Originally thinking of blood transfusion shapeshift great art knife sharp, if you can attract a divine mystic great treasure chi and blood, it can be used to attack other divine mystic great treasure, but also the great treasure success. No, think of the bloodshift shapeshift great art knife can only absorb the chi and blood of the golden core 5th layer cultivator. Why don't you have a good material to refine the blood-feeding shapeshift great art knife? Green-robed old man is also very depressed. The same is refining, why can't it be better? Because shape trans great art's unique origin chi, in addition to the heaven-swallowing demonic blade swallowing essence metal for the shapeshift great art array, the material that can be found is the shapeshift great art knife. Ling Longtian is a bit polite to green-robed old man, and may be the same reason for old antique. The high-level talisman of Bai Bei is very famous. Actually, there is no Mother Hummer. Even if you find a blood-feeding shapeshift great art knife, Wei Suo's face is very ugly. Next, Ling Longtian and he continued the carpet search for the rest of the two secret place breaks the mountain naked body. The restrictions were directly broken by Ling Longtian, but as Ling Longtian said before, these few naked bodies are just a few secret places in the Bamang mountain door, except for the great treasure that made her very shocked. The rest of the heavenly emperor's nourishment is an ordinary place. Wei Suo followed Ling Longtian all the way through, but he only found two shapeshift great art great treasures of Dao rank middle grade. Dao rank middle grade shapeshift great art great treasure for the Xiao family of Jinfu. Of course, it is already to great treasure, but for the current Wei Suo, it is not too great treasure. Even to Jiya, etc. people are not very good enough. Now there is only one last broken mountain naked body. There is no search for the broken body on the broken body. It seems that there are only 4 or 5 pieces of broken temples on the broken body, and it seems that it is just an ordinary peripheral building, and hope for finding good things. Ling Longtian first plucked the piece of broken mountain naked body, and it seems that he does not have any hope for this broken mountain naked body. However, after traveling less than 100 feet, she was stunned in front of a ruin that looked very ordinary and had a radius of only 100 feet. What now? This place is unremarkable, and there are no good things. What do you do? Wei Suo is very strange. The ruins are all green, but they have been completely weathered. When you walk a little, all the layers of dust fall, and there is no valuable thing at all. This is the temple of the Bai Bei refining secret place. Originally does not belong to this secret place. Was beaten on this mountain naked body. Ling Longtian ignored Wei Suo and muttered to himself, inferring himself. Immediately, Ling Longtian suddenly felt inductive and turned into a purple light, and a secret place in front of the left side was full of dust, and there was no vacant land in any building. And the bones of ancient cultivator. Wei Suo felt it wrong in an instant, and immediately followed up with it, only to see that the thick dust was blown by the wind brought by the escape light, and there was a bone of a cultivator lying on the ground. The cultivator was wearing a grey shapeshift great art attire. After being taken by the wind, it was immediately connected to the shapeshift great art robes and turned into dust. It was more than 60,000 years old and not in restrictions. This is not known. The cultivation base of the ancient cultivator has also been thoroughly weathered, leaving a naked body, which is completely blown away by the wind. But in the dust under the cultivator, there is a two-piece giant treasure xiao, bronze essence metal, without any traces of rust. Gyukengjin, green-robed old man suddenly lost surging sound. Be careful, have restrictions, don't get close, Ling Longtian is another surging sound great treasure. Mother Hummer, you thought I would be fooled Wei Suo didn't stop at all, just straight True Yuan toward the bronze essence metal roll. The bronze essence metal was directly rolled in front of Wei Suo. But what made him suddenly unbelievable great treasure eyes, Ling Longtian actually did not pounce on this essence metal. Just when this essence metal was wrapped in front of him, Ling Longtian took a shot and then distance this essence metal has more than 30 feet on the ground. Kaka a surging sound, the ground was beaten and split, and was swept by Ling Longtian, all open. Below, a silver divine glow, through the one yu, like a god king, suddenly opened one eye. Mother Hummer! There are better things. Again on Dang. Wei Suo reacted and couldn't help but scream out the surging sound. But at the same time, I saw Ling Longtian grabbing the silver divine glow. A surging sound of pa, the grey light and the silver light flashed, Ling Longtian was a surging sound scream, directly flew out hundreds of feet. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 729. Chapter 729 will sooner or later die. What is terrifying so? Wei Suo was still sinister and sinister Ling Longtian, and saw that Ling Longtian was directly smashed out, suddenly shocked and his face discolored. That thing seems to be a piece of peach treasure like great treasure xiao, the shape is very irregular. Ling Longtian's grey bracelet powerful energy even true immortal level great treasure can break through the powerful energy, suspected to be immortal artifact, it is difficult to resist the silver divine glow of the film, was collapsed. But now Wei Suo also saw that the silver divine glow on the piece disappeared after the glare of Ling Longtian's bracelet, and the terrifying powerful energy and breath suddenly disappeared. Seeing this lust shape, Wei Suo immediately reached for a grasp, and a True Yuan wrapped the pieces and took them all at once. Start with the sinking, divine might has disappeared, there is no dangerous debris, it is an irregular essence metal. Essence metal's surface is silver, but in every irregular section, there are countless layers of heavily stacked textures, each texture, giving the impression that the level of great treasure can be woven with origin chi. Unique shapeshift great art pattern. Hand it over. Ling Longtian jumped from the ground hundreds of feet away and screamed. She was swollen with the powerful energy of the silver divine glow, but it seems to be swollen, but it is worth living for more than 60,000 years, so that she could not collapse her, and now she is still playing and dancing. What the hell is this? Wei Suo grabbed the bronze essence metal in one hand and grabbed the silver essence metal in one hand. The look was also very shocking. This silver essence metal has an unspeakable macro treasure and an empty feeling. Wei Suo is holding this essence metal, and there is even a feeling of innumerable times in the surrounding world. Very ethereal, very strange, and in addition, this essence metal is extremely old, with an ancient scent. Now the bronze essence metal in his other hand has a halo-like texture on it, and there is a faint brilliance inside. This essence metal just let green-robed old man exclaim the surging sound. This essence metal is also a top-grade essence metal, which can only be collected in the deep secret place of ancient desolate, the old pit that was thrown out by the giant great treasure meteor. This essence metal is a kind of star meteorite essence metal. It is called the old pit gold in the cultivation world. Like the black copper, it is extremely rare. It is smelt in the shapeshift great art great treasure. The unique astral is intrinsic. Origin chi can enhance the dongware of shapeshift great art great treasure. but without looking at Ling Longtian's move at the moment, it is a feeling of breath. Wei Suo feels that this old pit gold has no shapeshift great art and the silver essence metal. Ling Longtian has just been extremely insidious, attracting his attention with the old pit gold, and pretending to grab the old pit gold. As a result, when the silver essence metal is charged, it is collapsed. The powerful energy of this thing is very dangerous. It will burst again at any time. Give it to me, or you will die, don't blame me. Ling Longtian squatted on the sharp tiger's teeth. Be careful, heavenly tribulation. Wei Suo looked at Ling Longtian with no table lust. Ling Longtian was a stagnation and his tone was soft. This thing has no secret place for you. It is better to give it to me. First tell me what it is, don't lie, be careful, heavenly tribulation. Wei Suo is very contemptuous, and is not completely miwo by Ling Longtian. How are you so refined? I have been a G on business for the rest of my life. Ling Longtian's face is dark. First ignore Wei Suo, turn to the 4 secret places and search carefully. The rest of the broken body is searched carefully, but finally nothing, depressed. Heavenly tribulation, heavenly tribulation, heavenly tribulation, heavenly tribulation, heavenly tribulation. Wei Suo has no other actions, and does not say anything else, just behind Ling Longtian, keep on swearing, and chanting the same words. Really, I have seen you, I have never seen such awkward, even green-robed old man can't stand it anymore, straight roll one's eyes. Can you not call the ghost called Ling Longtian finally couldn't stand it anymore, his hands stretched out and he wanted to live alive with Wei Suo, but he was blocked by Wei Suo. Tell me, the world is clean. Wei Suo leaned his head and his nose was awkward. You will die sooner or later. Ling Longtian finally succumbed and couldn't stand Wei Suo's suffocating. This is the fragment of the supreme immortal armament of the Northern Beggar Festival. At that time, several of the great treasures of the desolate race could come suddenly, and the joint sneak attack suddenly. This immortal armament has been destroyed together with the refining site. I don't think there is such a fish in the net. The piece of the immortal armament that caused one of the fuses of the desolate race and the many great treasures to be completely defeated. Wei Suo's eyes swelled in an instant. This fragment, can you still? This thing has not been refined into, it is destroyed, of course not, Ling Longtian said darkly. That would be a piece of essence metal fragment. Wei Suo suddenly looked contemptuous. Fart, you are at all, Ling Longtian couldn't help but screamed out, but when she saw Wei Suo's sly look, she immediately understood that you will not have another death shapeshift great art except for death. What other magic is there besides the immortal armament? Wei Suo he smiles, is not ashamed, and is proud of it. This supreme immortal armament, if it is refined into merit, has the power of the shatter void. The essence metal, which refines the supreme immortal armament, is a legacy of the ancient great treasure. It is said to be inside the shapeshift great art, the supreme great treasure with the shatter void. Ling Longtian took a deep breath, said hateful. The purple light on her body was a little dim, and it seemed that the silver divine glow on this piece of debris made her suffer. Shatter void great treasure. Wei Suo and green-robed old man suddenly dumped nebs. From ancient times to now, all the shapeshift great art, the great treasure, the strongest divine ability, is the shatter void. The void is broken, all things in space, all smashed. The powerful energy of the space crack, Wei Suo has personally experienced. This is the powerful energy, let alone the golden core cultivator, even the divine mystic cultivator may not be able to withstand. Some legendary supreme strong shapeshift great art, which claims to be able to penetrate the void, is actually only able to dong virtual, can only open up the void, and cannot completely smash the space. To smash the space, this is the strongest divine ability, representing the strongest battle strength. Green-robed old man finally said, the cultivator with such divine ability is the top of the past in the cultivation world. That won't be. Ling Longtian shook his head. The strongest divine ability, the most supreme cultivation base, not the shatter void, but the founding, divine ability great treasure to the ability to open up and create space is the most supreme cultivation base. What do you mean anyway? From this essence metal fragment, is it possible to comprehend the shatter void great treasure that is the ancient great treasure? Wei Suo didn't care about nothingness, just look at it and ask immediately. Your realm is too different from this divine ability, and even the venerable emperor shapeshift great art pattern is impossible to understand, let alone the things above heavenly emperor. This thing, you don't use secret place at all, don't charge 1 ang, or jiao to keep it for me. Ling Longtian looked at Wei Suo seriously. Oh, you just give the ancient great treasure a shoe. Wei Suo snorted and directly invested the silver essence metal in the storage bracelet. Pu Ling Longtian squirted blood from the mouth. Her blood is also purple and very unique. Isn't I really mad at me? Wei Suo is now about. Well, I have vomited blood, you don't give me this essence metal. After a spurt of blood, Ling Longtian came over and dragged Wei Suo. Well, the ancient pit gold is at least half of me, let me heal. Roll, less in front of me, not to die for more than 60,000 years, spit a blood just to relax the muscles and promote blood. Wei Suo saw that Ling Longtian spit out the blood that was only injured by the residual divine might on essence metal and went straight to the ground. Do you still have someone seeing? I have vomited blood, are you still licking my face? Well, you are also a little vain, and it looks like a good one. Not at all professional. So you can see it, you are still not up. I said that there is no problem with the scripture of the void walking footwork you translated for me. So bothering, how many times have you said it to you? You said that I translated a sentence. If I had a translation error, heavenly tribulation killed me. After leaving the ruins of Baibei, Wei Suo and Li Ziai and Ling Longtian continued to cross the wild and headed towards Cloud Spirit Continent. In addition to the secret place gray on the broken body of the abyss in the ruins, the rest of the restrictions were almost completely broken by Ling Longtian, and the valuable things were completely after sweeping through the air. Even if there is a cultivator now, it can only enter the tour, relying on hanging monuments. In the ruins of Baibei, although there is no amazing shapeshift great art great treasure that any cultivator dreams of, Wei Suo got a piece of wonderful tree, 2 ancient level great treasure bodies, a useful shapeshift great art clothing. Plus a piece of ancient pit gold, an essence metal fragment that may contain supreme great. This kind of harvest is also very amazing for Wei Suo, and it is definitely worthwhile. But understand the meaning. Under Wei Suo's entanglement, he even retelled a sentence again, and then Ling Longtian retranslated him again. There is no difference between the scriptures that are translated twice before and after. If Ling Longtian is a ghost, before the one Yuan said, there will be deviations before and after the scripture, and Lingbai is directly swearing with the most scrupulous heavenly tribulation, so scripture should not have. What is the problem? Fortunately Li Ziai recites scripture seems to have a very great treasure progress. After leaving the north fast rather ruins 2 days later, Li Ziai on the back of a complete scripture, then no longer recites scripture, only is over and over the condensation of a pair of almost the same residual figure, giving the feeling that all lightning waning moon scripture has been complete, leaving only the last order of all scripture, and the last catalogue. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 730. Chapter 730 Separate T. You have heard a name called Wei Suo's rogue cultivator, killing all the young master Su Jianhuan of true martial sect and the great treasure disciple Lin Taixu of mystic wind section. I did hear this news. It is said that a total of 13 golden core great treasure cultivators have killed this rogue cultivator. The result is that all 4 mystic wind sect old antique characters are killed by this rogue cultivator dead. Is this news true? How can a rogue cultivator have such a cultivation base? Even if there is such a cultivation base, a rogue cultivator, how could it be that this kind of guts is right with true martial sect and mystic wind section? How could this news be true? What is the divine ability of true martial sect's young master and mystic wind sect's true treasure? The old antique character of Mystic Wind sect, and what kind of divine ability? Your news is too backward. Now this news has been mad in heavenly profound continent central region, definitely. At that time, many cultivators were on the scene to witness the rogue cultivator killing the old antique characters of Mystic Wind sect and the fresh treasure disciple Lin Taixu and Mystic Wind section. This rogue cultivator is said to have a shapeshift great art like divine mystic shapeshift great art. I don't know if it is a shapeshift great art great treasure or a giant treasure cultivator of the golden core fourth layer, and no shapeshift great art can withstand it. His blow. So is this news true? Of course it really can't be true anymore. And the cultivator on site is said to have heard that Shui Linger became the Dao companion of the rogue cultivator. What? How is this possible? Can Shui Linger betray the teacher? The credibility of this news has reached 10. Ah, Shui Linger, I am a lust in my dream, I want to kill this guy. Oh, people are tempted to blow you up. Forget it, it's all between the great treasure characters, or manage our own affairs. Recently, the price of some shapeshift great art characters in Black Forest has been reduced by 20%. Next, you can take a little more with shapeshift great art. It is more cost-effective. Oh, the price of other artifact refinement materials and some shapeshift great art devices will definitely drop. After all, heavenly profound continent northern part has so many monster beast corpses, and the price of raw materials will drop a lot. I don't know the heavens dome rips of heavenly profound continent northern part, when can I block them? What does this have to do with us? It's all about the great sect and the great treasure cultivator. It's best not to block it, so the number of monster beast bodies in various places will be high, and all kinds of materials will drop. We still have some secret places. In the Xiao-type free Jiao market where a common rogue cultivator gathers, more than a dozen rogue cultivators are talking in the intermittent Xiao. This Xiao-type free Jiao market is located in the west of heavenly profound continent, a city called Xiao Cloud in the city of Purple Cloud. At this time, there is a torrent of rain above the top of the purple cloud. These rogue cultivators are all gathered under the yellow bamboo umbrella of the great treasure. The sky above is already bright, and it seems that the rain clouds are gone. The rain will soon stop. Just then, a handsome middle-aged yellow-shirt man walked through the redstone road behind the dozen rogue cultivators. This middle-aged cultivator appearance is very ordinary, lightly, but heard these cultivator Jiao talk, not out of surging sound. A dozen rogue cultivator, occasionally have two rogue cultivator in the twinkling of an eye saw the middle-aged yellow-shirt man. See, this middle-aged yellow-shirt man is not like a great treasure idol spiritual stones customers, plus the middle-aged yellow-shirt man light look ahead, nothing came to buy things you, so these side of the rain, side shun seeing is strong. Cultivator, also no one came out accosted. No one noticed that the middle-aged yellow-shirt man's dress is very ordinary, but there is an unspeakable dust-free atmosphere between his King Jun eyebrows. His face is spotless and walks through the rain. I don't see embarrassment, and his face seems to be much brighter than the general cultivator. The rain that fell from the sky fell to the side of the person, but it seemed to be frightened by what power, but it was slightly changed direction, and it did not fall on the cultivator. So the cultivator walked in the rain, but in fact, there was no trace of rain, spilling on him. Although Purple Cloud City belongs to a number of countless cities in the west of heavenly profound continent, the jurisdiction of Purple Cloud City is very strict. The cultivator entering the city is not allowed to use any of shapeshift great art and any shapeshift great art device. The cultivator did not use any of the shapeshift great art and the shapeshift great art at all. It even seemed to have not used true UN at all, but these rains did change their direction automatically and did not fall on him. The middle-aged man in yellow shirt seems to be very casual and walks into a shop in the east of this free market. This shop is a fragment that specializes in the acquisition and sale of shapeshift great art great treasure. It looks bland and only has 4 or 5 bungalows. At the door is an old rosewood plaque with 3 simple great treasure words, 11 xianzai. When I walked into the store, there were 3 cultivators passing by the door, but the 3 cultivators did not notice the speciality of the middle-aged man in the yellow shirt. The middle-aged man in the yellow shirt casually glanced at the things displayed on the shelves on both sides of the store and walked straight inside. This guest, inside is our treasurer. I saw the middle-aged man in the yellow shirt walking straight toward the inside. A tsingy boy who was sorting things next to the shelf suddenly said to the middle-aged man in the yellow shirt. It was obvious to block the middle-aged man in the yellow shirt. Entry. No problem, let him in, but at this moment, there is a surging sound of an old man. The tsingy boy gave a slight glimpse, and suddenly did not say anything, let the middle-aged man in the yellow shirt walked into a bungalow inside. The Xuanhuan in the shop is planted with several cyan bamboos, and the branches are rare. It looks very ordinary, but the middle-aged man in the yellow shirt stopped to watch these cyan bamboos, which is from these cyan bamboos. Going around, push the back of the cottage door and walk in. The bungalow is covered with a plain silver silk blanket, and the middle has a low wooden table. Sitting next to the wooden table is an old man wearing ordinary plain linen. The old man's face seemed to be very ordinary, his head was grey, but he was neatly tied with a cloth bag. His figure was a little thin, but in the moment when the middle-aged man came in, his face was flashing, moving a different kind of brilliance. This kind of brilliance is invisible, like the light of wisdom. This makes this old man, who should look very ordinary, very different, full of unspeakable great treasure wisdom. At the moment, the old man's desk, with a few ordinary talisman paper, a talisman brush, and several pill bottles, seems to be refining some ordinary talisman. Yeshian Chang, you finally crossed the hurdle and broke through to the second layer. Seeing this yellow shirt middle-aged cultivator came in, the old man smiled and made a gesture of sitting, said such a sentence. It seems that you have expected me to come to you because of what? The middle-aged cultivator of the yellow shirt sat quietly in front of the old man in the linen, watching the old man in the linen. What I heard in these few days is all about the Xiao guy. The old man in Ma smiled and smiled. If it wasn't for my understanding, I might not be able to rush to see what kind of person the Xiao guy is. If you want to see, I can bring him. The yellow shirt middle-aged cultivator looked at the hemp cultivator, and the brow jumped slightly. As long as you borrow my heavenly sea billowing divine mirror. Heavenly sea billowing divine mirror is no longer in my hands. The old man in the linen looks at the middle-aged cultivator of the yellow shirt. You are also counting the time. I want to rush to the heavenly great treasure land. From the heavenly great treasure, Luna heads him. But you are a step late. The brow of the middle-aged cultivator of the yellow shirt was slightly wrinkled. Who is one step ahead of me, is Su Shenjun. The old man in the room shook his head calmly and said, it is not Su Shenjun, it is the old man. Huang Pujualun? What does he want to do? The face of the middle-aged cultivator in the yellow shirt is a little bit bad, and the brow wrinkles more tightly. He usually has some curiosity, and he will never be so great treasure. The old man in Ma is a slight smile, saying, it is the Xiao guy who also irritated their Sky Sword sect and ruined them with a spiritual stone's vein. He actually provoked Sky Sword sect, the yellow shirt middle-aged cultivator smashed. I am also strange, Mystic Wind sect, True Martial sect, Fearless Heavenly Palace, Sky Sword sect, with the exception of Northern Bright sect, Jade Heaven sect and our Western Immortal Dwelling, all sects with the divine mystic cultivator were almost provoked by him. The old man reveals an interesting look. What exactly does the Xiao guy want to do? Did he repair the sacred war of the holy shapeshift great art? He is a water attribute, shapeshift great art, and should be the shapeshift great art of heaven level top rank. The middle-aged cultivator of the yellow shirt is cold. Heaven level top rank is a shapeshift great art, which is even more interesting. The old man in the faint smile, said, with this age, no surprise, we heavenly profound continent out of the 8th divine mystic great treasure, it is sooner or later. And at this age, there is such a divine ability, if you want to kill it, I am afraid it is not so easy. Why is it better to turn the enemy into a friend? Huang Daijun, you are repairing the Western immortality, great treasure, and in this ordinary experience, to understand the world, to the thousands of ordinary naked body, in order to make your cultural have the most great treasure. The middle-aged cultivator of the yellow shirt stood up calmly and said calmly, but I am repairing the mysterious wind to help shake the scriptures, soaring straight up, and my mind is open to the heart. Now that my killing intent has been born, I can't kill this child. I only stay at this divine mystic rank 1. The old man in Mayi smiled a little and didn't say anything more. Instead, he took a handful of ordinary tea at hand and seemed to be a guest. But at the same time, he reached for a stroke, but the tea in the sorrow was divided into 2 halves, the latitude and longitude. All right, I saw the old man in the robes divided into 2 halves of tea. The middle-aged cultivator of the yellow shirt was slightly yin, and nodded. After saying a good word, the yellow shirt middle-aged cultivator no longer said anything. Go out. The old man in Mayi did not move, but the tea was quietly closed. The autumn of trouble, autumn in trouble. The old man shook his head and sighed these 2 sentences, but then picked up the talisman brush and concentrated on drawing the most common shape-shift great art. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 731. Chapter 731 Huangpujualun. Decease the liar, if there is no me, you may go directly to the ancient desolate Lapeng's nest, and you will be directly smashed into a fly ash. It is impossible to see such a beautiful Xuanhuan. Mother Hummer, can you not add a dead word in front of the liar? This Xuanhuan is good, but you are so ugly, taking you is a great treasure. Deceased liar, what do you say, do you look good? Wei Suo and Li Ziyi and Ling Longtian walked through an unusually beautiful wasteland. In the wilderness where the film is not at the end, the secret place flows into the clear spring water, and the secret place has 3 or 4 high Yuqianhua. Yuqianhua's branches and leaves are like Baiu, full of vitality, with a lustrous green luster, but Hua is as white as snow white bud lotus, sparkling, fragrant, and sometimes subtle as snow white bud Hua. The powder is sprinkled and the fluorescence is shining. The scene of endless wildness is unimaginable. Although this Yuqianhua is not a spiritual Yao, it stretches thousands of miles, like a fairyland, and it also gives an amazing visual impact. This fairy-like scene is within Heaven's dome. Absolutely no shape-shift great art to see. After leaving ruins in Baibei, Wei Suo and Li Ziyi and Ling Longtian have been driving for more than 10 days. Now, the distance from the edge of Cloud Spirit Continent is only 70,000 miles, which is the most dangerous through the wilderness. The center of the area. With Wei Suo and others, you should be able to meet Cloud Spirit Continent's cultivator for a couple of days or more. At this moment, Ling Longtian has already made the Bamang shapeshift talisman, but it has become a 5 short and 3 thick red face. It looks like a butcher, and the Bamang shapeshift talisman is very strange. Even the shapeshift great art clothing is straightforward. The shapeshift great art suit is black, and the rune is covered with copper coins. It looks a bit cheesy. Ling Longtian seems to have been to some places in the wild secret place. Sometimes there will be surging sound along the way, so Wei Suo will avoid some sinister places, like this secret place is full of Yuqianhualin, she has been there before. Is the point where Wei Suo passes by. However, she and Wei Suo are still constantly bickering on the road, they want to get some good secret places from the other side. The mountain is extraordinary. After a while in this unusually beautiful Yuqianhua forest, Wei Suo suddenly ignored the flickers slightly and said such a sentence. The left side of the secret place, the complete outline of a wild and lonely mountain has been clearly revealed. This lonely wild mountain is a single, very prominent in a wild plain, at least 2,000 feet above sea level, half of the mountain is covered with white but. There was a sacred god on the mountain, but it has already been collected. You don't want to get any good things from there. Ling Longtian, who has become a red-faced bearded man, has a surging sound. No beginning god you, legend has it that you can absorb the ancient chi, which can refine the material of immortal artifact. This giant mountain has such an amazing spirit. Wei Suo's face has not changed, but his eyes are fierce flickered for a moment. Originally a few days ago ponder void walking footwork not shapeshift great art, Wei Suo is to continue ponder Earth Mother Ancient, now scripture Wei has only left dozens of catalogs and scripture annotations have not been read, for the Earth Mother Ancient scripture a general layout has been indefinitely, there seems to be a dense great treasure road in the mind is about to sprout, but only the last layer of yarn did not uncover. Now the Earth Mother Ancient scripture he has seen more than 10,000 catalogs, he has already know in Xiong, just his this Jushan Qiu air condition uncommon is also he deliberately said to test Ling Longtian, because according to the Earth Mother Ancient scripture on the record, far secret place that wild solitary mountain of the ground facies belong to the snow white butt top, according to records, the terrain of the mountain naked body, it is likely to be amazing to great treasure. Because Ling Longtian has been to this secret place, he feels that Ling Longtian is likely to have some understanding of this mountain, so deliberately said that temptation, I did not expect this giant mountain, really once manifestation different great treasure, just has been people take it away. Gathering snow white butt top. Wei Suo continued to memorize the great treasure of Earth Mother Ancient scripture, and one of them was silent. Then I thought of this secret place. Suddenly, there was a slight ice in the sky, and there seemed to be a majestic origin chi. Come in. This, the bang of Wei Suo's head was so shocking that at this moment he seemed to have the feeling of being connected with the great treasure, the veins and the giant mountain. Deceased liar, what are you doing? Ling Longtian turned her head sharply. At this moment, she also felt that Wei Suo's breath was very strange. It seems that his naked body suddenly became extremely high treasure, but in fact, his naked body is not. Any change is still the original great treasure Xiao. None of your business. Wei Suo didn't breathe a surging sound. Hong, Wei Suo once again sneaked on the great treasure of Earth Mother Ancient scripture. This time, the feeling is clearer. His true Yuan flows in an extremely eccentric rule in the naked body, and seems to flow out the trajectory of the snow white butt. It is in communication with the ground of this secret place. In his spirit, there is a slight ice. It seems that there is a hole dong open, to absorb the great treasure, and the ancient chi is coming in, but it is under a slight meal, but this feeling is disappearing again, feeling no to. What is the difference? Wei Suo's face was very suspicious. He tried it several times in a row and felt more and more clear. This Earth Mother Ancient scripture is extremely mysterious. It is definitely an unforgettable great treasure. You can use true Yuan to walk a unique trajectory in the naked body, communicate the great treasure, and it seems to be able to use the amazing underground origin chi for your own use. But every time he tried, he didn't know which aspect was a little worse. The unique position of communication between the Ming and the dynasty has been opened, which has produced an amazing Pangret treasure channel, but it does not lead to Kokichi. Come in, then the Ponte Great Treasure channel, it will close again. Too weird, what the hell is this guy doing? Ling Longtian looked at Wei Suo intently, feeling that Wei Suo was extremely strange when he tried it several times. Forget it, wait until all the diagrams have been read. Wei Suo tried several times, but after feeling a little worse, he finally decided to give up trying first, because the remaining diagrams in the Earth Mother Ancient scripture are not many, and it is estimated that they can be fully remembered for at most half a day. Deceased liar, I see your eyes are very thieves, what bad ideas are you moving? Ling Longtian was a little nervous by Wei Suo's natural singularity, and couldn't help but screamed. I am an ancient scripture in cultivation. If the culture is successful, the strength of the great treasure will rise. You should be polite to me. Wei Suo looked at Ling Longtian and said half-truth, but be careful, I will turn you into a pig. You are less bragging. Ling Longtian looked at Wei Suo and showed a 1U sharp tiger tooth. No, but at this moment, Ling Longtian's face suddenly changed, looking in the direction of the lonely mountain. What is wrong? Ling Longtian's god lust made Wei Suo feel a little wrong, and immediately asked. There is a strong great treasure atmosphere, we hurry to hide. I don't know if it's a powerful cultivator, or an ancient desolate monster beast. Ling Longtian said this to Wei Suo, and immediately swept down the Hua forest below. Brother Rabbit, let's go, don't out of surging sound. Wei Suo brows and immediately greets Li Ziyi to land. Just a dozen breaths, the snow-white butt top of the mountain, suddenly passed a golden glow of the giant treasure of Pang. Its cultivator, Wei Suo's eyes suddenly and violently beat, and the golden-colored rainbow was clearly a cultivator, and the breath was very different from the monster beast. This person is the cultivation base of the Divine Lord class. Ling Longtian's god lust is also extremely nervous. Divine Lord level cultivation base, its divine mystic great treasure. At that moment, the black gold rainbow is still far away. Wei Suo only feels that the black gold rainbow is extremely amazing and breathable, but there is no shapeshift great art to see the true cultivation base of the cultivator. At this moment, I hear Ling Longtian said that he was shocked. Divine mystic great treasure can. He used to be only in the true martial door. He had seen true martial sect divine mystic great treasure and could see Su Shenjun. He had never seen the real divine mystic great treasure. In this wild and wild, how can there be a sudden emergence of a golden core cultivator, which is not necessarily visible in the life of today's cultivation world, divine mystic great treasure? Can you deal with divine mystic great treasure? The sudden appearance of divine mystic great treasure filled Wei Suo with an ominous premonition. Under the eye's flash, Wei Suo first took out the great yin heaven collecting gown, which was obtained in ruins in Baibei, and put it on his body. At the same time, I quickly asked Ling Longtian. If you are not injured, you can barely deal with it. It is now estimated that it will not be able to cope. Ling Longtian hesitated and said. To deal with you, I thought you were more powerful. It turned out to be a strong outside, and it really didn't work. Wei Suo suddenly became depressed and screamed at a surging sound. Deceased liar, I mean, you think that the shatter void powerful energy of the immortal armament fragment is easy to resist, and you have already died before you go up. Ling Longtian is also very angry and swearing. Mother Hummer, this is who. Wei Suo's heart burst into a void, and as the escape lights by was near, a stock of heaven shaking's powers rolled in. Let him have a feeling of no match shift great art. How seems to be coming to us? It must be your enemy, this time you are killed. Ling Longtian couldn't help but scream, the golden gold rainbow seemed to be straight toward her and Wei Suo's. How do you know that it must be my enemy? Maybe it is your enemy. Wei Suo couldn't understand why he was at Cloud Spirit Continent but he didn't get any divine mystic great treasure at all. I have been in the spiritual stones for more than 60,000 years. How could it be my enemy? If my enemy, I will eat all these Hua trees. Ling Longtian said that he gnashed his teeth. But her words were just finished, she could not speak. I am Sky Sword Sect Xuanhuan. Why, you have the murder of my Sky Sword Sect great treasure cultivator, ruining my spiritual stones veins, but at the moment I didn't show up, but still have to hide. A surging sound with a terrifying majestic surging sound, which came out of the escape light at the moment, seemed to be directly on Wei Suo and Ling Longtian. Xuanhuan. Sky Sword Sect's divine mystic great treasure can. Sky Sword Sect's divine mystic great treasure can be seen here, and seems to be waiting for them. This divine mystic great treasure can, of course, be the enemy of Ling Longtian, because even Supreme Elder Xuanhuan of Sky Sword Sect was killed by her s. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 732. Chapter 732. Don't shoot. The sword of the life. This guy is actually an ancient sword. In a moment, Ling Longtian felt something again, his face was even more embarrassing, and he couldn't help but rushed out. The black gold rainbow is close to the amazing degree, and the Yukinhua forest below is twisted and shattered by a terrifying force. Brother Rabbit, this person is too terrifying, I will help you to lead, you are running away lazy. I stunned and looked at Wei Suo. The ancient scripture of this old man is amazingly powerful. Only when we join hands can we deal with him. Ling Longtian was worried that Wei Suo really let Li Ziyi go up and take the opportunity to escape, watching Wei Suo. You have to set up shapeshift great art to hold him, let me close, and we have a way to live. Alright, Wei Suo eyes flash, without any hesitation, agreed. Deceased liar, you promised so simply, I am very suspicious. Ling Longtian looked at Wei Suo very unbelievable. Do you want to take me to the front and fight with him, and take the opportunity to escape? Dead steel teeth younger sister. You are an idiot. This guy can intercept us here, definitely what is on hand to search our shapeshift great art great treasure, where to escape? Wei Suo looked at Ling Longtian. You can think about it, wait for the cleverness, don't drag me to kill me with you. Ling Longtian looked at the golden light of the rainbow, and the god Lust was also very nervous. Now with the eyes of Ling Longtian and Wei Suo's, it is clear that the black gold rainbow is from an old man wearing a white robe and wrinkles. The skin of this old man is bronze, white shawl, face is dry, but the breath of his body is completely no less than a giant desolate behemoth. The golden light of the rainbow is a sword chi, which naturally dissipates from his body, opens the void in front, and moves with him. His embarrassment is 2 points faster than the shackles of Wei Suo and Ling Longtian. The ancient mirror in his hand should be able to track our shapeshift great art great treasure. Wait until there is a chance, first break it and say it again. Ling Longtian revealed the sharp teeth and said such a sentence. Divine mystic great treasure. The face of Xuanhuan is very gloomy. There is a golden ancient mirror in his right hand, and there is a brilliance flowing from time to time. I will give you another chance, kneel down and wait, maybe I can give you a way to live. At this time, the surging sound of Xuanhuan is pressed again. Jokes, your Sky Sword sect deceives rogue cultivator to collect the veins for you. I don't know how many cultivators are killed, I don't know how to reflect, and I am so crazy. I don't think it is far from the day of sect's defeat. Wei Suo is unceremonious, great treasure surging sound screaming, his body began to pick up the cold killing intent. Sky Sword sect and his great treasure revenge. Xuanhuan is the strongest cultivator of Sky Sword sect's current cultivation base, and is the enemy of his most great treasure. A Xiao generation, actually dare to be so rude? You are dead. The surging sound of Xuanhuan suddenly became cold, like the gold and iron-phased Xiao. I don't die, you don't have anyone seeing, live in this world, it's also one Angfi spiritual stones, I am sending you on the road today. A surging sound of exploded, and when Xuanhuan Bai was nearly 10 miles away, Wei Suo directly sacrificed the town of shapeshift great art. A black shapeshift great art like the ancient desolate, Dang stands in the heaven shaking killing intent and stands between heaven and earth. Firefighters also dare to compete with the sun and the moon? I took this thing first and then said it. Xuanhuan continued on, and when it was more than 2,000 feet away from Wei Suo, it suddenly stopped, and a strand of material formed a substantial ripple, directly impacting Wei Suo's. This stalk forms a substantial transparent ripple, the divine consciousness of Xuanhuan. His divine consciousness is almost invisible, he wants to use the divine consciousness pressure, and directly presses Wei Suo to lose resistance. Golden core cultivator. Even with the powerful shapeshift great art great treasure, divine consciousness and divine mystic great treasure can be insurmountable. Divine mystic great treasure can be called divine mystic, because it is because of this level of cultivator, divine ability has reached the mysterious and mysterious, the general cultivator has no shapeshift great art imagination, no degree of shapeshift great art. Old is not dead, great treasure is not a word. However, under the pressure of Huangpujuelun's divine consciousness, Wei Suo was unresponsive. Tian Tian shapeshift great art stepped forward without a stop, with a sturdy fighting intent, reaching out and bringing out the road. The terrifying light pattern was taken towards Huangpujuelun. No wonder Lin Taixu will die in your hands. Huangpujuelun's gloomy, thin, and old face also flowed reveals a look of horror. Go. But in the face of not knowing how many times higher than his great treasure, Dang took the terrifying breath of the town of shapeshift great art, but he just reached out. Hey! The breath on his body suddenly slammed, and the clouds above it were directly worn by Chi Flame Dong, which was scattered from him. It was bright and clear, and a bright beam of light was formed on his body. At the same time, his body before, suddenly there was a black gold sword light with a bucket thickness. Chi! 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 All the air in front of it was crushed by sword chi. Within the area of the sword's light, there was a terrifying vacuum great treasure Dong. This is an extremely terrifying scene. The bucket-like sword light has unimaginable degrees and Dong wear, and the light of the shapeshift great art is constantly cracking. This terrifying sword light directly hit one of the hands of Zhentian shapeshift great art, and heaven-shaking surging sound, although it did not break the hand of the town's shapeshift great art, but terrifying powerful energy shocked the town of shapeshift great art in the air, and swayed. Brought out a lot of woo-woo surging sound. This is a flying sword? Flying sword's powerful energy can achieve such a terrifying level. Wei Suo didn't move at the heart of the shapeshift great art. There was no damage, but the shock in his heart could be described by the singularity of one ang. This terrifying sword light is equivalent to the powerful energy of his town's shapeshift great art, and the breath of the impact, he is almost in the air, so that his naked body skin, there is a kind of split pain. He can be sure that if there is no match of shapeshift great art, he will not even be able to stop this attack, and he will be killed by the sword directly. He has few rivals in the golden core stage cultivator, but even the divine mystic great treasure can hardly stop the blow, but now, he finally knows completely, divine mystic great treasure can divine ability, how terrifying is. This thing is actually comparable to the real divine mystic shapeshift great art. It's a pity that your true UN is not enough to control this thing. This monster core can't last long. It kills you to take this thing, but it just makes up for the loss of our sky sword section. A blow was blocked, and the sword light was only shining, and it was hidden in the naked body of Huangpujuelun. It was just this blow. Huangpujuelun, the divine mystic great treasure, had already thoroughly seen Wei Suo's, his hands and fingers, and the amazing sword chi kept rushing out of his fingers. This Wei sword chi is white, like a piece of mysterious ice, Dang screaming extremely cold. This Wei sword chi is not really flying sword, it is his movement of shapeshift great art condense, but the power of each sword chi is far above Wei Suo's Dark Emperor sword chi, and there is 10 between the wave the road sword chi, the vertical and horizontal jiaorong, like the 10-handed ice front sword, kept slashing around Wei Suo. Pa! Pa! Wei Suo controls Tian Tian shapeshift great art was shot in both hands, bringing out countless mysterious trajectories in the void, playing around the world constantly shaking, and smashing all the sword chi of the great treasure. However, after several dozens of sword chi were crushed in succession, Wei Suo's township shapeshift great art was always within the range of 1,000 feet of shapeshift great art by near Huangpujuelun. Whether it is Huangpujuelun the beginning of flying sword, or now the Dao technique shapeshift great art, the attack is extremely strong great treasure, in his not fully utilized, did not using his own divine mystic shapeshift great art phase lust conditions, Wei Suo's town days shapeshift great art phase, can only be tied to him, as this goes on, dragged water candle monster core is all refining, Wei Suo must be destroyed, it is impossible to Huangpujuelun. The current Huangpujuelun seems to be a god. The clouds above the top of the head are all open, and a beam of light falls, shining on him. This old guy is as deceitful as you are, not giving you a chance to be close, dead liar, you hit me to his side. At this time, Ling Longtian, who was buzzing purple, suddenly emerged from the rear of the town's shapeshift great art and reached Wei Suo's. Pa! Zhentian shapeshift great art shot with one hand and hundreds of light lines hit Ling Longtian. Ling Longtian's body purple and gray light flashed, between a surging sound, hundreds of light lines stagnate, no broken, and Ling Longtian was also photographed like a comet, dragging long in the air flames, flying towards Huang Pujualun. Chi! Huang Pujualun's finger bouncing, the white sword Chi of the five-pointed giant treasure, instantly reached the front of Ling Longtian, but the five-pointed Peri Great Treasure's sword Chi, close to Ling Longtian's 3-foot range, but all split, disappeared into a group of origin Chi. Ling Longtian's figure is less than 100 feet away from Huang Pujualun. Is antiquity life form in demon mark ominous vein? Huang Pujualun's brow wrinkled, his body suddenly violently shocked, and a thick golden sword of the bucket rushed out and hit Ling Longtian's body. Pu. A surging sound seems to be a leaky muffle. Xuanhuan great treasure dark, a flash, retracted into the naked body of Huang Pujualun, Huang Pujualun a surging sound boring, body naked body in the air for 5 or 6 steps, his face slightly white. What thing? Huang Pujualun's gaze was fixed on the grey bracelet of Ling Longtian's hand, and the eyes were unstoppable. Ling Longtian was wrapped in purple light and flew backwards. Lonely work. Wei Suo's eyes lit up, and Tian shapeshift great art took another shot with his hands, took a strip of light, and shot Ling Longtian again, like a projectile to Huang Pujualun. Don't shoot, you want to kill me deliberately, right? However, when Ling Longtian was shot again, Ling Longtian was crying and tearing, and a surging sound screamed. Pu. It was a surging sound, the grey bracelet on the hands of Ling Longtian, the grey treasure, and the sword of Huang Pujualun. Boom! 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 Huang Pujualun was again in the air for a few steps, and his body was mad, it seemed to be very uncomfortable. Don't shoot me, it's really hacked to death. Ling Longtian, who flew out, but spewed a blood directly, almost fainted in the past, and shouted at Wei Suo. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 733. Chapter 733 Shapeshift Great Art vs Great Treasure. Chapter 733 Shapeshift Great Art vs Great Treasure. Update time 2011-09-2608, 30, word count 3198. VIP Chapter Content, Subscription. Your tone is so great treasure, can you vomit blood now? Seeing the miserable look of Ling Longtian, Wei Suo almost fainted. Divine mystic great treasure can be light on the breath will pierce the firmament, the powerful energy can be enough seconds to kill the general golden core cultivator, his this town day's shapeshift great art can only protect itself, there is no shapeshift great art kill Huang Pujualun divine and Shi consciousness great art degree, annihilation golden core also has no shapeshift great art poses a threat to him, now Wei Suo's hope is pinned on Ling Longtian, originally thought that the head of the longhorn Xiao girl will then the cattle, did not expect to just clatter is already dead. I was not hurt by the fragment divine might, otherwise it would be so bad. Ling Longtian has now restored its original appearance, swaying, as if it had been killed by a group of people for a long time, and the mouth is swollen. Decease the liar, do you have anything to press the bottom of the box, and quickly come out, otherwise we will all die in the hands of this old guy. If I have the bottom of the box, I will take it out and kill you. Where do I have anything to press the bottom of the box? Wei Suo is almost in ruin, the water candle monster's monster core is very fast, and it is estimated that it will not support the half stick of incense. It was estimated that Xuanhuan could kill Wei Suo 2 or 3 times when Wei Suo switched to other water attribute monster core and the township shapeshift great art was running without shapeshift great art. It's not far from Cloud Spirit Continent. If you fall into this secret place, he will really die with the remaining grievance. There is no other thing at the bottom of the box. It's useless. In this case, you only have to understand this scripture right away. If you can't get rid of this water candle monster core, and the township shapeshift great art has no understanding before the shapeshift great art controls, then we are today. I really want to die here. I was really afraid of divine mystic, and I was afraid of a pig-like helper. Ling Longtian, who is shaking and swaying, is very decisive, and immediately starts a yin script, a scripture, sound transmission to Wei Suo's ear. A scripture? Can you deal with the scripture of divine mystic great treasure? Just heard Ling Longtian say that Wei Suo suddenly has a bright eye and feels that this is really a great treasure. I want to get a supreme ancient scripture from the hands of Ling Longtian. But after listening to a few words, Wei Suo was almost mad with the blood spurt out. Dead steel teeth younger sister, how does this scripture sound so familiar? This is the real void walking footwork, right? The void walking footwork you told me before is wrong, right? Die teeth younger sister, are you not afraid of being killed by heavenly tribulation? Originally, Ling Longtian sound transmission to Wei Suo's scripture, the statement is very familiar, it is actually scripture in Dong virtual ancient scripture, but the order is completely wrong. Do not next spend time. Ling Longtian was still dissatisfied with Wei Suo's anger, and yelled, hurry up and learn scripture. Dead steel teeth younger sister, you gave me a fake scripture, one and cost me so much time, I killed you. Wei Suo almost mad. At this time Xuanhuan has the victory in general, very proud, not impatient, pop up a road sword chi, waiting for Wei Suo true UN exhaustion, town days shapeshift great art phase constantly shaking, all around the world seems to be sword chi, Wei Suo's town days shapeshift great art phase and Lizi I too close, with light lines are pressed Lizi I shapeshift. Great art help. Wei Suo is also able to use the town days shapeshift great art to protect Lizi I. The situation is very sinister, but now Wei Suo really some cannot help, and gas great treasure scold out surging sound. He learned so many days of void walking footwork, racking his brains, and also plunged countless saliva, let Ling Longtian retranslate it again, did not expect the previous void walking footwork scripture is still fake. I didn't lie to you. The scripture of our spirit race. The order is secret. The order is 1 yuan. I am able to translate it for you. Now it will help you adjust the order. Do you want to listen to it? Don't listen to me, run it first, maybe this guy hates you more, may deal with you, won't chase me, so I may be able to escape. Ling Longtian also cried. Mother Hummer, dead steel teeth younger sister, fast back. Wei Suo resisted the urge to take Ling Longtian to Xuanhuan again, and he was so angry that he was black. Ling Longtian is actually very nervous, Xiao face completely white, immediately reciting the correct order of void walking footwork scripture. Young fellow, are you still recalcitrant? I see that your shapeshift great art is not bad, as long as you are now obediently surrender, let me plant restrictions, and listen to my orders in the future, I can spare you a life. Xuanhuan is full of unspeakable powers. The body that seems to be dry and dry is the scent of the giant treasure that is unmatched by the ancient desolate behemoth. The divine mystic great treasure has a unique sandalwood-like aroma. Nearly 10 miles. Looking at Wei Suo's town's shapeshift great art and Ling Longtian's grey bracelet at the moment, his eyes are also difficult to hide the greedy look. Chi. Between the words, the 10-sword chi that he popped up in his hands was combined into a white giant sword, strangled to the arm of the shapeshift great art of Zhentian, and beat the town of shapeshift great art to the next sink. The light pattern under the feet collapsed a lot. I don't die, I think it's a good idea to repair your sword. If you are obediently going out of the sword and surrendering to me, I might consider it. When you annihilate your Sky Sword sect, leave a lust face. Wei Suo's face was extremely cold and his body flashed silver. He looked at Huang Puchualun, who was covered in a light column, and did not hide the killing intent in his eyes. It's dead, it's still so hard. Huang Puchualun is not angry, smiles a little. If that is the case, then I can only abandon your cultivation base and throw you into the mine to mine. It is estimated that you will naturally ask me when you arrive. Isn't all the old and undead old men like you so much nonsense? Wei Suo sneered. A divine mystic great treasure can't take a golden core cultivator, and face so much nonsense. If I am going to divine mystic, I will kill you with one hand. You are looking for death. Huang Puchualun's face was discolored and finally angered. The origin chi on his face rolled like a madman, and the hurricane rolled the Yuqianhua tree within a few squares into pieces. Divine mystic great treasure can be the real empire of the entire cultivation world. High above, any cultivator must pay homage, not dare to make great treasure, but Wei Suo even dare to insult, so that the cultivation of excellent Kung Fu. Huang Puchualun also finally angry. OM. On the body of Huang Puchualun, a bunch of gold-colored origin chi suddenly appeared, wrapped in layers. Just a moment, outside his body, he formed a Pontagar treasure god with a height of more than 10 feet. This god is wearing a bronze battle armor, carrying a sword wheel behind him, holding a sturdy black gold sword in his hand, and his body is full of amazing swords. It seems that the whole body is naked body, which is made up of countless handle flying sword. Condensed. Divine Mystic Shapeshift Great Art. Huang Puchualun's Divine Mystic Shapeshift Great Art is a sword of the giant treasure. Ka. Huang Puchualun's Divine Mystic Shapeshift Great Art's black gold long sword smashed toward the town of Shapeshift Great Art, a mysterious sword light that instantly hit the town of Shapeshift Great Art. Pa. The Tian Shapeshift Great Art was struck by lightning, and the black body of the entire Pang Great Treasure was instantly beaten and flew back several dozen feet. This town of Shapeshift Great Art is really infinitely close to the real Divine Mystic Shapeshift Great Art, but there is still some gap between the strength and the real Divine Mystic Shapeshift Great Art. Wei Suo's silver flashed on his body, still violently squirting origin chi, without any damage. However, Wei Suo knows very well that if the ordinary golden core cultivator is changed, the sharp vibration of the Shapeshift Great Art will be enough to seriously damage it. Ka. Almost the time limit is common, and a sword light hits the body of Shapeshift Great Art. The Tian Shapeshift Great Art has not stopped before it has been beaten, and it has been beaten backwards to be faster. Fly. Deceased liar, how are you getting involved? At this moment, the gray light on the gray bracelet of Ling Longtian's hand is also completely blanked. The turtle is in the light of the Shapeshift Great Art in Wei Suo's town, and it does not pose any threat to the powerful energy of the township Shapeshift Great Art. Pa. The town of Shapeshift Great Art was once again beaten to fly out, even the black light group behind the head is almost cracking. Your great treasure can be said later. Wei Suo stunned Ling Longtian. Can this Shapeshift Great Art wrap around with others? Now that Ling Longtian tells him the Void Walking Footwork's true scripture sequence, Wei Suo only feels fluent, and now he has the concept of how true Yuan flows. As long as you carefully understand some of the subtle secret places, you should be able to use the supreme strong Shapeshift Great Art without making any mistakes. According to the current lust shape, the time should be enough, so Wei Suo is very calm and not worried. This kind of Shapeshift Great Art is a problem with a few people fleeing together. Ling Longtian heard a little bit of a sign, and suddenly the golden treasure was bright, and he replied immediately. Your origin chi will have an impact on my Shapeshift Great Art. It seems that I can't take you. Seeing the long golden light in the eyes of Ling Longtian, Wei Suo carefully grasped it in his heart, and deliberately sighed with a sigh of relief. Well, I also fight this guy with you, hit the blood, almost beaten by you, Nong died, you don't need this. Even if you are the brother rabbit, You should see that as long as I don't motivate the powerful energy of my bracelet, I won't lose shapeshift great art and true UN powerful energy. Ling Longtian couldn't help but shouted at Wei Suo. Ah! I can't see it. Li Ziyi, who was afraid of shaking, suddenly said something. Ling Longtian couldn't help but roll one's eyes. I really gave you half of the monster subduing tower according to the agreement. You know the correct order and don't give me the real Dong virtual ancient scripture. You must give me at least half of black copper. Wei Suo at this time, watching Ling Longtian say such a sentence. Dead liar, I have to call you great treasure brother, you have to escape first and say good. Isn't it black copper? It's good to discuss it. Ling Longtian is extremely depressed. At this moment, she is a secret place at a complete disadvantage. If Wei Suo left her here, she was really finished. She didn't die for 60,000 years, and she is still dead here today. Okay, then you are ready, don't move your bracelet. Wei Suo glanced at her and said. You have fully understood, Ling Longtian stunned, and some of them were overjoyed, great treasure eyes and golden eyes. It's a pity Wei Suo did not answer Ling Longtian's words, but looked at Huang Pujualun's divine mystic shapeshift great art with supreme. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 734. What is the origin of this broken arm? Is there any function? Wei Suo asked immediately. Let me show you another piece of antiques first. The Xiao girl with long horns on her head frowned. The two have to be connected before I can be sure. Wei Suo glanced at the frowned Xiao girl, said nothing, and took out the strange amber antique. The thin 3-inch-long ancient incense exudes an uplifting mysterious atmosphere, giving people a feeling that it is larger than the indigo blue broken arm. Actually, the Xiao girl was obviously surprised when she saw this piece of antique. It was bigger than the vibration of the broken arm. Her eyes sparkled with gold, and she approached. Let me see more clearly. Come on, with your eyesight, what's the difference between 20 and 30 feet? Do you want to grab it? Wei Suo snorted. I won't. It. Xiao girl pouted her lips, the golden light in her eyes flickered, and she didn't know what she was thinking about. I can't use this thing, I just want to see if it's that thing. This thing is not in the light of the sun, moon, and stars, there will be countless flashes of light inside, it seems like there are no traces of numbers. Yes, that's it. It seems that you can see the origin of this antique. Wei Suo said nothing, but he was very surprised. I see it. The Xiao girl nodded and didn't care. The broken arm is the broken arm of a guy in ancient times. This antique is something left by a monk in ancient times. What do you mean? That's all done? Even if you are agitated about the origin of these two things, Wei Suo was surprised, seeing Xiao girl's complacent look, suddenly awake and fooled, and suddenly couldn't help crying. Isn't this the origin? Besides, I don't know much. The Xiao girl was more proud when she saw the discoloration of Wei Suo's face. The lies are going to be chopped to death by heaven tribulation, Wei Suo said with a somber face. The Xiao girl, who had just been very proud, immediately shivered and immediately changed her tongue. Anyway, you didn't say clearly what you want to do. You just said that you need to link the two together to make sure. You are not afraid of being chopped to death by heaven tribulation, Wei Suo said without expression. He could see that the Xiao girl was very taboo about the characters of Tian Xiao, and he could definitely see that the Xiao girl knew the origin of these two things. Okay, the owner of this broken arm is the opposite of this antique master. It's okay now. The Xiao girl with long horns on her head seemed to be extremely embarrassed by the heavenly tribulation, and she said that immediately. What kind of thing is this ancient fragrance? Is it a magic weapon? Wei Suo asked immediately. Unless you give me that mass of fine gold, or that black tower, or give me that golden broken furnace, I will tell you. Xiao girl grinded her teeth and got a little proud. There is also the golden gun and black Xiao people are fine. Idiot. How far can I get away? Wei Suo was impatient and didn't want to get entangled with the Xiao girl again. Then I'm leaving. The little girl's eyes rolled back and turned into a purple streamer. Wei Suo was stunned for a moment, but Xiao girl was so refreshing this time, but he immediately reacted immediately. Damn it, after a cry with an extremely ugly face, Wei Suo broke the indigo giant arm and antique all were taken away, and then Lu Xiangchen was photographed and swept out. Wei Suo just swept out of the Tianjian bronze temple, but heard a popping sound, and saw that Xiao girl had penetrated a Tianjian bronze temple that looked like a warehouse directly, and then she swept in immediately, and kept her hands and feet, and did not know what was caught in her sleeve. By the time Wei Suo's face was ugly, the Xiao girl had smugly plucked it out. There are ordinary fine gold such as black iron fines inside, and there are many stone crystals and other objects. What fine gold is there? Wei Suo looked ugly, and directly pressed Lu Xiangchen, who was captured by him. Lu Xiang came to want to die a little bit more angry, but under Wei Suo's powerful coercion and extremely cold eyes, he had no courage and unconsciously replied, "There is a piece of black that has been mined recently." Copper. Black copper. Wei Suo's face suddenly became more ugly, and he could not help snarling at the Xiao girl, "You must eat even this kind of thing? Are you afraid to eat as black copper?" It's no wonder that Wei Suo can't hold back the fire. The name of black copper sounds ordinary, but it is a superb fine gold of the same grade as Henjia fine gold, and this magic gold refining magic weapon has a unique swallowing light, and the effect of divine consciousness can make opponents fall into the dark as well as the night, and it is extremely difficult to lock the divine consciousness. The power is even more amazing. But Wei Suo didn't even think about Xiao, but it was the Xiao girl with the long horns on the head, and let the Xiao girl grab the piece of fine gold first. Cheater, I won't be black. I think your face is quite black now. The Xiao girl with long horns on her head shone with golden light in her eyes, very proud. Are there any treasures in the bronze temple of this day? Wei Suo was so angry that his teeth tickled, and the horse asked Lu Xiangchen in a voice. The Xiao girl's eyes are very weird, very strange, and seem to be able to see through. If there is any treasure, if you start slowly, she will be taken away directly. There are no other treasures. The top-grade treasures mined are shipped back to Tianjianzong Mountain Gate every day. This piece of black copper is just mined, and it hasn't been time to send it back to the mountain gate, Lu Xiangchen replied. Haha, the Xiao girl smiled smugly. Can you hear it even inside the soundproof mask? It's a freak. Wei Suo's face was really a bit dark. After asking the question, he immediately excited a soundproof mask, but now look at the look of this little girl, but it seems that even his voice can be heard. What are the eyes and ears of this little girl? However, the more weird the Xiao girl was, the less he wanted to get entangled with the Xiao girl. After taking a deep breath, Wei Suo captured Lu Xiangchen and flew out towards the Tianjian Bronze Temple. At that time, who were you and Wang Jianzan who forced my parents to come here? A candle-like brilliance appeared on Wei Suo's hands. From now on, if you tell a lie, I will let you can't survive, you can't die. Torture you for decades will not let you die. There are also Cao Yi and Du Wei. Lu Xiangchen felt that Wei Suo could say that he could do it, and he shuddered violently. What is the identity of the two of them now, and where is it? Wei Suo's tone was extremely cold, as if there were 9 days of wind blowing down. Both of them are in the Tianjianzong Mountain Gate. Du Wei is still an ordinary disciple. Cao Yi is already a double repair of Jindan and a true disciple of the Patriarch. Wei Suo looked cold and did not stay at all. He flew all the way, and flew directly to the elder Xuanhuan, who was sitting on the of Tianjian zone, who was killed by the Xiao girl. Heart. Then the blood-eating knife and Xuanhuan's body were also put away. Xiao girl seems to be only interested in some unique fine gold, and has no interest in the body of the monk, so the bodies of Xuanhuan and others who were killed earlier were all on the ground, and they did not move at all. My parents, where did they fall? After all the bodies of Xuanhuan and others were put away, Wei Suo continued to ask. They were divided into several batches at that time, and I am not sure where they fell, Lu Xiangcheng replied with fear. At that time, when you first explored the direction of the dry spirit and spirit veins, you had a large collapse, and my parents should be there. Wei Suo took a deep breath. Where is the collapse? Just in this seventh fissure. Lu Xiangcheng was a little dumb, not knowing how Wei Suo would be so clear about the events of the year. Just in this seventh fissure, Wei Suo's body shook slightly, his hands trembling slightly. Although he knew that his parents had fallen, he heard that his parents had fallen into the ground fissure in front of him at this moment, and his mind was still beyond his control. He can't wait to tear all the ground fissures, he can't wait to fight the Heaven Sword sect now, and all the sovereigns and elders of the Heaven Sword sect will be pulled off the throne, and they will be turned into fly ash. Where did they fall in the ground fissure, do you know? Looking at the ground fissure in front of him, Wei Suo took a deep breath and then asked, you are in one place. Relics of the ancient sect gate want to enter through the dry aura spirit veins. What kind of ruins are that? What is the specific situation of your exploration of the veins now? It was the 5 miles of the entrance of the dried up spirits and spirits that collapsed at that time. Lu Xiangcheng's face was whiter. The ruins of the ancient sect gate, which our Huangpu ancestors personally investigated, could not break through the external prohibition at all. I don't know the inside. What is it? Only know that it is deep underground. Now we follow the direction of the dry aura spirit vein. There are about 1,000 miles away from that ruin, but the dry spirit vein is broken, the situation inside is extremely complicated, and sometimes there are even many unintelligible strange things have happened, and there has been almost no way to find a track for more than a year. Sheng collapsed in the 5 miles of the spiritual energy. My parents and their monks, did they survive? No. That place collapsed at that time, sinking into the heart and soul of the abyss. You give me a happy heart. Lu Xiangcheng hesitated, but Wei Suo's expression and breath made him suffocate, and finally he said it. Just to die. The liar, really came to seek revenge. At this moment, Wei Suo was unprecedentedly powerless. He seemed to feel that his parents were here, but he finally couldn't touch it and wanted to cry. At this moment, he didn't even feel that Xiao Girl was approaching him within 1,000 feet. At the moment, Xiao Girl's eyes flashed with gold, pursed her lips, and didn't know what she was thinking. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Zy. Chapter 735. Chapter 735 is endless. What happened? Wei Suo and Ling Longtian were almost surprised at the same time with great treasure. Wei Suo is very clear to feel the stunning origin qi into their naked body, and Ling Longtian is to feel Wei Suo again change great treasure, and this time is the real change great treasure. His body's breath suddenly become dignified pang great treasure a lot of, as if and below great treasure to become a naked body, became a giant you-like feeling. This Wei Suo's naked body is another shock, and it has come back from the episode of the heart. This amazing Austrian qi is drawn from the bottom of the ground. And at the moment, he has a feeling of thoroughness and the great treasure below, which is a naked body, and the strength of the great treasure is increased. And this majestic origin qi rushed into his naked body, condense, but did not blend with his true yuan, seems to form another true yuan in his naked body. It seems that he has also developed 2 types of true yuan. True yuan, formed by this unique earth qi, seems to have no shape-shift great art storage in his naked body. It only flows through the meridians. After a certain degree of filling, the amazing Austria qi is no longer in flux, but that the channel is also not closed, so that he and the great treasure below still communicate, connected to a naked body. For a time, Wei Suo only felt that his own true yuan couldn't tell. His eyes flashed and it seemed that he had given birth to an idea. Immediately, his body dang took out countless golden divine marks, stepping out in one step, and instantly it took a distance of nearly 10 miles. Don't consume much true yuan? Dreamy was shocked by the change in the atmosphere of Weisuo, and Ling Longtian, who was suddenly taken out by Weisuo's void-walking footwork for 10 miles, was suddenly unbelievably called. At the moment, Weisuo's heavy mountainous great treasure feels gone, but Weisuo's true yuan seems to have no consumption at all. To know that every time Weisuo used void-walking footwork, the true yuan volatility was extremely intense. True yuan suffered a loss of half, and the atmosphere was weak. Earth Mother Ancient Scripture, it's really mysterious. Weisuo's heart is also very shocking. At the moment, the channel formed by the Earth Mother Ancient Scripture in his naked body has been closed, and the communication with the great treasure below has been lost, but the void-walking footwork is only used. He uses the unique Earth Chi in his naked body, formed by true yuan. This Earth Mother Ancient Scripture attracts true Chi's condensed true yuan. Although there is no blend of shapeshift great art and its own true yuan, it can completely replace the cultivator's true yuan. He used the void-walking footwork and didn't consume his own true yuan. It seemed that only when he opened the channel connecting with the lower ground, he consumed some of his own true yuan. Why do you usually try the Earth Mother Ancient Scripture? Even if you open such a channel, there is no shapeshift great art communication at the foot of the great treasure. Zhou can't lead to Earth Chi, but here, it is possible to lead to Earth Chi. Weisuo used his own true yuan to display the void-walking footwork. He crossed the void and returned to the top of the mountain covered with golden yellow rocks. Weisuo feels in her heart and does not seem to be the reason for this unique landscape. Hong. Going back to the top of the barren hills that are 3,000 or 4,000 miles away from Cloud Spirit Continent, it is a breeze to communicate with Earth Chi. The great treasure is amazingly amazing, and it is instantly like the great treasure river. In the midst of the influx, true yuan instantly made Weisuo feel true yuan, filled in the naked body. Chi. 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 This time, Weisuo does not display the void-walking footwork, but instead uses the Dark Emperor Sword Chi. This true yuan, which was formed by Earth Chi, is a complete replacement for his own use of true yuan. And every time a Dark Emperor Sword Chi, with true yuan loss, there is another influx of Earth Chi, replenishing the consumption of true yuan, so that his true yuan continues to be in true yuan, very inflated state. Deceased swindler, what the hell are you doing? What kind of ancient scripture is it? Do you need to wear true yuan for shapeshift great art? Ling Longtian looked stunned and couldn't help but call great treasure. For a moment, Weisuo didn't know how much Dark Emperor Sword Chi went up to the sky above, but his true yuan didn't wear out at all, giving the impression that his true yuan is endless. There will be no loss at all. How can I not do shapeshift great art Zhou elsewhere? It's easy to communicate here. Weisuo simply ignored Ling Longtian's great treasure, and his entire mind was already immersed in the perception and thinking of the Earth Mother Ancient Scripture. Did suddenly, his eyes flash, seems to figure out what it is like, the naked body flies upwards towards the sky above. Sure enough, after flying over 100 feet, Weisuo's eyes flashed again, then fell immediately, and again showed the void-walking footwork, with Ling Longtian and Li Ziyi, stepping beyond 10 miles, landed down on a plain. When it was less than 100 feet from the ground, Weisuo stopped. Hong. Weisuo's naked body, the breath of the body, once again became heavy, like a bare body with the great treasure below. This Earth Mother Ancient Scripture is such a revolutionary ancient scripture. This ancient scripture is definitely heaven-level top rank. Weisuo's face suddenly showed an incredible look, and his heart was shocked. This Earth Mother Ancient Scripture is completely beyond his imagination. It's not that he had any problems with his previous sentiments. This Earth Mother Ancient Scripture, communicating with Earth Chi, can't be too far from the ground. He was only the last point, just because it was too far from the ground. It turns out that this Earth Mother ancient scripture is within 200 feet of the ground to communicate with Earth Chi. The reason why he was able to successfully communicate with Earth Chi at the top of the mountain was because he and Ling Longtian flew over the foothills of the giant mountain just above the height of the mountain naked body. Now Wei Suo is above the wild plain, and it is easy to communicate with the ground. The great treasure of the precious treasure, Origin Chi, poured into his naked body, and instantly filled the true Yuan in his naked body, extremely embarrassing. It is indeed the same as he felt before, not in some unique landforms, can lead to Origin Chi, but the distance from the ground is limited. As long as it is within 200 feet from the ground, this Earth Mother ancient scripture is like a real source of true Yuan. True Yuan is endless and not exhausted. What kind of concept is this? Wei Suo's eyes flashed sharply and reached out. He once again sacrificed the town's shapeshift great art. The town of shapeshift great art of Pang great treasure is incomparably majestic, like the same ancient desolate god of war, standing between the heavens and the earth. Just a moment's time, Zhentian shapeshift great art seems to have lost its ability to rely on the general, shrinking Xiao, into a black Xiao, was caught in the hands of Wei Suo. It's not enough for my true Yuan cultivation base. Wei Suo couldn't help but a deep breath, forcing his mind. He just tried it out. Earth Chi's true Yuan is exactly like the true Yuan of the same Earth attribute, shapeshift great art, which can completely replace the true Yuan of the ordinary cultivator, and can drive the shapeshift great art. It's just that true Yuan, which is consumed by shapeshift great art, is too intense. After the moment, true Yuan, which is condensed by Earth Chi, is exhausted for a moment, and there is no point to add it. There will be a short true Yuan, which will lead to the town's shapeshift great art. The controls showed a brief pause. This time he tried to test, true Yuan of the Earth Chi condense, which is communicated by Earth Mother ancient scripture, seems to be a little weaker than his own true Yuan, because when he showed the void walking footwork, he felt that a void walking footwork almost consumes all of this Earth Mother ancient scripture condensed true Yuan. That is to say, the light of the Earth Mother ancient scriptures non-stop Zhou Origin Chi, driving Wei Suo's other shapeshift great art and shapeshift great art, is enough, but drives the town of shapeshift great art. However, there are still some shortcomings, and there will be some short gaps. Equivalent to put a pool of water, use it all at once, although the water is still being injected, but waiting for a pool of water to refill, still need a certain time gap. But Wei Suo also felt that the Earth Chi condensed true Yuan was not enough, just because the amount of Earth Chi that can be accommodated in the meridian of his naked body is insufficient. Your own naked body has been completely filled, only to accommodate so many Earth Chi. In other words, his pool is still too xiao. This shows that as long as his cultivation base improves, he can accommodate more true Chi in the meridian, which can accommodate more true Yuan and Origin Chi. That is to say, as long as his cultivation base is promoted, the Earth Mother ancient scripture Zhou will lead to the strength of true Chi condensed true Yuan, and will continue to improve. If the Earth Mother ancient scripture's true Yuan power is enough to control the town's shapeshift great art, then the Wei Suo controls come from the town's shapeshift great art. It's equivalent to not consume true Yuan at all, and you can endlessly control the town. Day shapeshift great art. As long as the cultivation base goes one step further, break through the cultivation base of the golden core fifth layer, at most, if you want to repair Immortal Root 5 secrets successfully, and build double golden core, with this Earth Mother ancient scripture, you should be able to control the town's shapeshift great art. Wei Suo puts aside the town of shapeshift great art, and his hands are not consciously trembled. Although there is still a gap between Zhentian shapeshift great art and the real divine mystic shapeshift great art, in the face of Huang Pujualun's cultivation base, as long as it can continuously control, self-protection should not be a problem. And even if divine mystic great treasure controls from divine mystic shapeshift great art, it still consumes a lot of true Yuan, it is impossible to endlessly spur divine mystic shapeshift great art. If you can endlessly control the town of shapeshift great art, and Huangpujualun against the enemy, hit the end, Huangpujualun will certainly not withstand consumption, to escape. And this is not the future way Suo gets a higher cultivation base, higher surgery shapeshift great art. If Wei Suo arrives on divine mystic and uses his heaven-shaking shapeshift great art, it can be a steady stream. True Yuan is endless, and the same opponent as him, who can withstand such loss. This Earth Mother ancient scripture is exactly like an endless supreme book for true Yuan that can make cultivators. The value of this classic is definitely heaven-level top rank. Do you understand this ancient scripture? Can you keep communicating with Earth Chi and turn it into true Yuan? This is not equito to true Yuan endless. At this time, Wei Suo void walking footwork fell to the top of the plain ground, and the true Yuan breath was once again stunned. Ling Longtian also saw the clue, and the two golden light treasure eyes all bulged out, and suddenly it was incredible. Surging sound, where is this dead swindler got this kind of ancient scripture? Such an ancient scripture has been circulated in the ancient cultivation world of more than tens of thousands of years, and it has been annihilated for many thousand years.